Sig, back at you with another little chat. I'm once again working on my little blanket, as you can see. I've actually made a lot of progress since the last video, and I'm steadily working my way to the end. I'd estimate that maybe I'm about halfway through, but I'm not entirely sure because I am just vibing this one out. And I have to admit, it's very relaxing to just be able to sit down and mindlessly knit, for a bit and just zone out. I will also say I know there's not really a cohesive color scheme or anything happening here, but I am really proud of the progress so far, and I cannot wait to finish this blanket. As always, if you have a craft you want to work on while we chat, grab it, feel free to get it, and after the video's over, tell me about it in the comments. Let's get a little silly, or just grab a drink and relax, get comfy, and enjoy this little chat that I'm about to present you. Today I want to talk about the TV adaptation of Good Omens and its upcoming second season. It's in the production stage, and as of making this video, there's really not that much known still about what's going to be happening in it. When I first found out that the second season was genuinely happening, I found myself a mixture of shocked and disappointed, mainly because of my own personal thoughts on the first season and some of the behind-the-scenes going-ons regarding the potential second season. And let me be clear, a lot of this video is just going to be made up of my own opinions and my own thoughts on the whole second season, some stuff that was said behind the scenes or not on the show. But despite it being a very opinionated video, I hope you'll enjoy coming along with me on this little chat. Firstly, and spoiler alert if you've never seen or read Good Omens, let's lay out the plot of the first season so we can have a baseline. Angel Aziraphale and Demon Crowley have been put on Earth to help their respective sides win the age-old war of angels versus demons. They spend 6,000 years on Earth becoming good friends, and maybe more if you listen to the subtext, and they help each other out with their work. The show is kicked off with the arrival of the Antichrist, Satan's child who will bring about the end of the world. The rest of the episodes focus on Aziraphale and Crowley trying to stop the apocalypse, along with other characters like a witch named Anathema, a man who can't use technology without breaking it, Newt, and 4 adorable kids and their dog. It's a fun series that surprisingly isn't dark or edgy despite what the material might sound like. And when I first watched it in the summer of 2019, I found the show a serious breath of fresh air compared to a lot of the grittier and darker stuff that's been released lately. So, if I loved the first season of Good Omens, why wouldn't I be anything but ecstatic for a second season? Let's start with the behind-the-scenes bits first, since it's really the behind-the-scenes stuff that makes me hesitant to be excited for season 2. See, Good Omens the book was written by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. Terry Pratchett is sadly no longer with us, and when the first season of Good Omens was released, it was made clear that although Terry Pratchett wasn't physically here to help oversee his partial intellectual property, Neil Gaiman would be honoring his memory throughout the creation process of the TV show. It was assured to the fans of the book and fans of Terry Pratchett that the first and only season of Good Omens would adhere pretty close to the book in order to respect Terry Pratchett's memory. When people asked about a second season around this time, 2019, it was made clear that there wouldn't be a season 2 since this could begin to infringe upon what Terry Pratchett would have wanted, or the lack of ability to ask him at any rate. And that makes a lot of sense, right? You have a book written by 2 people in a situation where one of them has passed away. There's no reason a Good Omens TV show couldn't come into being, which obviously it did, but leave it at 1 season based on the book and let sleeping dogs lie. So why is there a second season now? Well, it's obviously money if you ask me. I'm not going to be pointing any fingers to cast or crew because I really do not know the ins and outs of everything because I'm not there, I'm not in the writer's room or anything, but I certainly don't mind pointing any fingers towards stinky Amazon wanting to rake in all the money they can after the success of the first season. This easily leads into another aspect of this that doesn't really sit well with me, and it's just really simple. The fact that Terry Pratchett doesn't really have any way to have a say in what happens to his partial work. And yeah, I know Season 2's plot is supposedly based off the notes of a potential sequel to Good Omens that Terry Pratchett himself did work on in some way while he was still, alive. So in a way, he's having some input still within the show. But, I just hope that this will be it. Frankly, I do low-key hope that there's not a 3rd season in our future, that Season 2 will be it. let's move on to the other reason why I'm unsure Good Omens needs a season 2, which is a lot more personal and kind of where the opinionated piece really starts to get opinionated. See, I'm of the belief that sometimes things just need to end for the story to feel complete. Two great examples of this are Patrick McHale's Over the Garden Wall, which aired on Cartoon Network as a limited run series, and of course, Alex Hirsch's Gravity Falls, which aired on Disney Channel for 2 seasons. Over the Garden Wall is more of the better example here, as it only had 1 season. The story was put into 10 episodes, and there would not be any more after the last episode aired. It was just going to be the 1 series, limited run. Although, side note, I am aware there are comic books that continue the adventure / touch upon stories not shown during the 10 episodes of the run of the series. I own a few, so I understand that the story is still continuing in other ways, but I digress. Over the Garden Wall stands as a very popular show, and even today, people are still going nuts for this series. Could it have gotten a season 2? Yeah, I think so. Would it have been good? Most likely. But there's no need for a second season. I really think Good Omens is in this category. But, well, we do have a second season coming. So let's look at Gravity Falls, which in the same way was very beloved by fans of all ages. It had 2 seasons and very well could have gone on for more if fans of the show had had their way. But Gravity Falls came to an end despite having multiple ways to continue the narrative being told. And this is even a show that I would kill to have another season of. But it can always be a bit of a gamble when it comes to continuing narratives that have a solid ending. Obviously, Gravity Falls wasn't meant to be a singular season like Over the Garden Wall, or even Good Omens for that matter. But I bring it up because hopefully, if Good Omens 2 does well, the creators of the show won't continue to be strong-armed into making more seasons, because sometimes that can spell trouble. See, sometimes a show will go on for way too long because of money. It's what happened to Lost, actually, where the showrunners wanted to end the show, but the network didn't, so they just kept making more and more seasons. And there are other examples as well. I used to really like the show Supernatural back in the 2000s when I was a kid. That show was supposed to end after season 5, but was brought back to wheeze and rot its way to a full 15 seasons or something. And I ask, for what? Because most people came to hate the show. No offense to any Supernatural fans out there, but I personally dropped off after around season 6 because what more really did Supernatural have to say beyond repeating its own tired tropes? Of course, I'm not bringing all of this up to say it's guaranteed that Good Omens Season 2 will be bad. I can't possibly know that because the season isn't even out yet. I've not seen it. Most likely, Good Omens Season 2 will be anywhere from genuinely fine to really good. I mean, David Tennant and Michael Sheen are there, so it's bound not to suck. I bring all of this up because I suppose to caution folks from thinking that more is always better. Which leads me to address something else. A good chunk of people who watch Season 1 of Good Omens will be interested to see how the characters of Aziraphale and Crowley are doing post-saving the world from a never-happened apocalypse. And it's not to say that I don't want to see more Aziraphale and Crowley, but I also think there's this idea that a second season will mean a confirmation of romantic involvement between our favorite angel and demon. Most people read the relationship between Demon Crowley and Angel Aziraphale as romantic. I do too, although I have to admit, despite being someone who's very adherent to the idea you need to blatantly have explicit queer rep, I like the gray, unconfirmed limbo those two are in during Season 1, but in Season 2, I don't think the gray area will cut it. I would want to see Aziraphale and Crowley explicitly in some sort of relationship, one that is called queer in the text of the show. And I'm sorry, but I doubt that Amazon would want to host that kind of show. If there is really anything remotely queer about the second season, I'm sure Amazon is making sure it's easy to cut out for markets that aren't going to want to see that. Even Neil Gaiman probably doesn't want an explicitly queer show either. See, Gaiman's been pretty active on his Tumblr, a place that obviously a lot of Good Omens fans frequent, along with the cesspool that is Twitter. And on both platforms, Gaiman will answer asks about the show, and there are a lot of people who've asked him specifically about the relationship between Aziraphale and Crowley. On the whole, Gaiman isn't against people headcanoning his characters as queer, but has stated that they aren't gay because they're an angel and a demon. They don't think about gender the same way we do. There's also this insistence that the two aren't romantic or sexual partners, instead just friends, although I found this tweet in which Gaiman implies that the two could be on the asexual or aromantic spectrum, or that they could be trans, etc. Still, I'd really love for people to remember that Neil Gaiman isn't exactly your bestie online. Like, I'm rather neutral about the guy myself, though I will say he's got a bit of transphobia in his past thanks to his Sandman comic series, but that's neither here nor there, I guess. And the book Good Omens is rather homophobic, with a child even saying slurs, and the overall narrative using Aziraphale's queerness as a joke. So I think it's safe to say that a canon relationship between Aziraphale and Crowley will either be very unlikely or so brief that it's easy to cut out for homophobic markets. Why would it matter, all this queer rep talk I hear some of you asking? Why should Aziraphale and Crowley be explicitly queer? Sig, you even admitted that you like the unconfirmed gray area of Season 1. Sure, for a singular season based on a book that's even more ambiguous about Crowley's and Aziraphale's sexuality, that's fine. But personally, I'd want more from Season 2 regarding the canonical queerness, or lack thereof, of its two main characters. And again, I just doubt that this is going to happen in Season 2. Genuinely, if it does, I will be extremely blown away. And my dog is barking in the background. I'm so sorry about that. I might still use this take, though, even with him barking. I think there's a disconnect between actual representation we see on screens versus what we can seek through streaming and other online mediums. Queer representation becomes a delicate balance of making sure it's all relegated to the sidelines or subtexts of a lot of mainstream media. I doubt Aziraphale and Crowley will be shown in any relationship beyond friends because time and again, I've seen the queer community courted by queer themes and stories, or hell, even canonical queer rep, but it's so watered down that it's genuinely blink and you miss it. Expecting more from the media you watch isn't a bad thing. In fact, I think a lot of queer people would agree that there needs to be more confirmed representation on shows. And we're slowly getting there, yes, but the cynic in me just does not think we're going to be seeing canonical queer rep in Good Omens. I suppose at the end of the day, questioning a second season of Good Omens really just comes down to the fact that I've grown tired of everything getting a sequel or a reboot. We really do live in the age of reboots, remakes, adaptations, and whatnot. Sometimes I just wish I could see something new and original. Good Omens Season 2 will most likely be good. If it's not good, then it's at least going to be fine. It may surprise all of us, and Aziraphale and Crowley will go out on a romantic date, and I'll eat my shoe because I made this video. Or it may just be another rehash of Season 1, honestly. Only time will tell, and I, for one, will be among many who tune in for Season 2 of Good Omens. So, here's where I ask you, what are your thoughts? Are you excited for Good Omens Season 2? Do you think Aziraphale and Crowley will sweep each other off their feet? Tell me about it in the comments, because I'm genuinely interested to hear what other people's thoughts are about this. And with that, our little chat has come to an end. I'll say I'm not sure about how the audio quality is going to be, but if you heard my dog in the background, I'm really sorry. He's like not even 2 years old. He's still very much a puppy, and he's been having his barking session while I've been recording. But I know this video is a bit of a ramble and filled with a lot of personal opinions, but I just wanted to talk about my thoughts on this subject, much like in the same way I made my video on Y: The Last Man, which I should say, if you guys have 7 minutes to spare, I really think you should check out that video. I'm really proud of it. It's one of my favorites to rewatch. And if you've made it to the end of this video, I'd like to thank you so much. I appreciate everyone who takes any time out of their busy day to sit down and have a little chat with me. If you pulled out a craft while watching this video, tell me about it down below in the comments. Also, feel free to subscribe so you know when I've posted a new little chat. I've got some really exciting projects in the works right now, and I'm so excited for them, and I hope when I've posted them that you'll tune in to watch them. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and in the meantime, good luck out there.